And we're back. What's the crack? A little delay after Blackpool, and we're no longer in person, but we're also no longer hungover, and we've actually slept. So, yay!
I
was just saying, speak for yourself, Dave. We're no longer hungover.
Oh
No,
yeah,
it's Blackpool was a blast, man. It was really great hanging out with you guys, and I had a lot of fun.
yeah.
I've seen a lot of Michael O'Brien producing bottles of Guinness over the last few days, so he's definitely hungover. Look at that Ed. Look at that kid.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
video, if you all haven't seen it,
A
it
lot of
went
practice.
sort
A lot of
sort of
practice.
viral, I guess. It's got almost 200,000 views on Instagram now. But I produced the Guinness and then the Jameson out of my sleeve, and a bunch of people in the comment section were trying to figure out how it worked. So they were like, "Oh, I know how he does it. He has like a pocket sewn into the inside of his jacket, or he's got like a special pair of trousers that he wears, and he hides it there." And so and these are legitimately people trying to figure out how it works. And so what I did was I asked a bunch of magicians. I was like, "Hey, can you guys do me a favor? Go and flood the comment section with false explanations of how the trick is done."
No, I
And
didn't
some
see
of
that.
them are pretty fun. So if you guys get a chance, go check those out. It's on my Instagram there. It's pretty funny.
St. Patrick puts him in his pocket. I saw him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
That's a great way to go into the first topic, which we thought we'd talk about. So if I just bring it up here, we have the first topic is kind of Paddy's Day.
Hey.
So it's Paddy with a D as well, not with
Yeah,
a
not
T.
Patty.
Yeah, just
Fucking
got to get that
idiots.
out there first. But yeah, that was a few days ago as of recording. So we thought we'd go through this as it's a very Irish heavy podcast. What everyone did for Paddy's Day. So I'll start with my very exciting thing. I stayed in, got takeaway, ate loads of stuff, and watched movies.
Nice. All right, what movies
I
did you
did
watch?
also have a chest infection, so that probably played a part in it.
What movies were on the card there?
Oh, it was a mix. I think I can't remember what the movie was. It wasn't great, but then I did switch over to Temptation Island on Netflix, which is just the worst, best reality TV show I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, that's what St. Patrick would have done, like, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, who goes on a show with your significant other where you get split and put into different houses with loads of single people to see if you'll cheat on each other? Spoiler alert.
That's
They
pretty.
cheat on each other.
Oh my god. That's got to be like the most like Irish thing you can do is just have a night in on Paddy's Day.
Oh yeah,
on
avoid
Track
the
TV.
pubs because like it's just gonna be chaos. I'm too old for this.
Oh my god.
I just want a seat. What did you get up to?
So my Paddy's Day was very very hectic, I guess is the best word. So I did a week at the Magic Castle last week. I did close up gallery Monday through Sunday, and I was booked for the St. Paddy's Day event as well, that they had in the inner circle. So it was like a members only, you can bring your guests kind of thing. They booked me for an hour of walk around for that. It was a lot of fun. I had a blast. Had Alex Kazam. I don't know if you guys know Alex or not. He's from Belfast. I asked him if he knew you guys, and he knew who you were. So you two are celebrities.
Hey, Alex.
But it was there you go. It was loads of fun working there and doing that. And I was gonna save this for like a private video that I was gonna do myself for my own following, but I thought that since we're on the topic of Paddy's Day, I would share this with everybody.
It's going to be a
It's-
fucking
it's-
Guinness out of his hat. Watch
It's not a
this.
Guinness. It's not a Guinness. It's almost as good as a Guinness though. Check this bad boy out.
Oh,
look at that shit.
Irish passport.
Oh yeah, Michael's coming to Ireland, baby.
There you go.
Just kidding. It's
I've been
fake.
looking for that.
Yeah.
April Fools. April Fools.
There we go.
I knew we wouldn't let someone like you in.
I had to get the April Fool's bit in there since this is going live on April 1st. So,
Oh,
but yeah, it looks nice, huh? It looks real.
Yeah.
It looks very real.
So quick little
You even
backstory.
got the scanner bit for the
If you wear your hat and you have that, they won't even fucking check. You'll be grand.
Right?
Yeah.
So a couple years ago, I actually did an April Fool's thing because I was putting out at the time I was planning to put out a product called Lethal Passport, and basically it's lethal tender, but the gimmick is built into the passport book. So I was going to give you this, and I had two different versions. I had the UK version and the American version of it. And so just on April Fool's Day, I showed both passports, and I was like, "Hey guys, I'm moving to Blackpool. You know, it'll be a lot closer. It'll be easier to see you guys every year for the convention and all of this stuff." And then my hashtags were like hashtag just kidding, hashtag April Fools, hashtag fooled you, hashtag whatever, like very obvious stuff, right? To this day, I have people that still think that like I live in the United Kingdom now. So it's pretty funny. So now people are gonna think, because I'm gonna post this on April 1st on my Instagram too. People are gonna think
Nice.
that I've officially
You
moved.
should get your you should get your daughter to draw us a portrait of you for the inside of the passport.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, nice.
But yeah, so that was basically my Paddy's Day, and then
What about
just
you, Steve? Wildness.
Yeah, so it was my birthday really close to Paddy's Day. So, and I was 40, so I'm old and shit now. But we decided just
Before
to,
you were just shit.
yeah. Now old and shit, and a little bit grey. Only a little bit though. There's fucking 20-year-olds more grey. So fuck.
No, you look good.
Anyway,
You look good.
My beard's gone grey. I was like, I can go bald or I can go grey, and now I have both. It's not fair.
Yeah. So yeah, we actually went down in your neck of woods, Dave, down to Foda and stuff, and we chilled out with Mikey, and yeah, we totally took it easy. The most Paddy's Day thing I did was drink Guinness. So yeah, but it was nice, just chill out time.
How are the Yanks?
There was a few in the hotel, but not loads either. So yeah, but I saw like we didn't go to any parade, but we saw loads of people getting organized for the parade and stuff like that. We just chilled out. Yeah, it was great.
That's the handy being in Cork. It's not Dublin's chaos, but the rest of the country kind of gets left alone.
Yeah, we went out by Cove though, and it was absolute chock-a-block because they had like a later parade, I think, and it was just you couldn't even park. Like it was just nuts. But it's so scenic out there; it's always busy. But yeah, it was nice.
So yeah, even though Adam Scott from Severance is in Cork at the moment, filming something out in Bantry, so we're a very fancy place now. So that I think covers what we did for Paddy's Day for people who are asking. So now we can move on to the next one, which is a bit of the breaking news. We have breaking Magic Castle updates. So I'll hand over to Michael and you can give a thing as you were there.
Thank you. Yeah, that was perfect. That was perfect. We need to edit that sound. Can we put that sound effect in there for the breaking news bits?
Yeah.
Or we'll just have Steve do it. Screw it.
I just take the recording of Steve and use it for
I learned that from Terry Fader. Look, my mouth isn't even moving like this. It's fucking amazing. Yeah.
So for those that don't know, there was a bit of drama between the AMA and the MCE. And if you have no clue what I'm talking about, we actually did a full deep dive into this in an earlier What's the Crack? I think it was the first one.
I think it was either the first or the second one.
Yeah, so go back and watch that. It's so you can get the full. Yeah,
and watch it on Deceive Reality.
That's right. That's right.
What's that?
Yeah, make sure you watch it on Deceive Reality. So I'll kind of recap it, but I'll make it as short as possible. So long story short, the contract between the AMA, that's the Academy of Magical Arts, and the MCE, that's Magic Castle Enterprises, or the company that owns the building, the Magic Castle. The contract is set to expire, I believe, in like 2028. And long story short, there was sort of a disagreement over who was going to manage what operations, how much money was going to be owed, and all of these things. Because you have two different organizations that they're very much intertwined. Like for the longest time, I had no idea that the Academy of Magical Arts ran just about all of the operations at the Magic Castle, including food and beverage, right? Including all of the door workers, the staff, like everything was AMA, right? So what I understand now, here's the update. They have officially assigned an agreement that they will continue to negotiate. And when that 2028 contract expires, they will renew the contract so that they're not going to split. Because for the longest time, the worry was that the Academy of Magical Arts was going to split off from the Magic Castle and open their own Magic Castle somewhere else. And then the Magic Castle was going to have to change its name because, believe it or not, Magic Castle Enterprises doesn't own the rights to the name Magic Castle in Los Angeles. So
Dave owns it. Fucker, he buys everything.
So so the Magic Castle would have to change its name and just become some other club, but it would be the same building, right? So that was the worry for the longest time. So we're officially at a point now where they've agreed that that's not going to happen. All we can really do though is hope, because other than that, there hasn't really been anything set in stone for what the agreements are going to be, what the negotiations are, and all that stuff. All we really have is a promise from both sides that they're going to look out for the best interest of the members and of the staff to keep this thing together so that it doesn't split. So that's the update as of now, but we'll keep you guys updated when we find out more.
Cool. Has the kind of conflict kind of changed the castle in general? You were there recently. Does it feel a bit like what's going on?
They just had an election, and there's new board members. So that sort of thing, I think it feels like a very positive thing. Some of the members that were sort of involved in a lot of the drama are kind of on their way out now, and we're bringing in new members. So from what I can see, it feels like everything is in good spirits. It's been a bit of a roller coaster. There's still ongoing litigation and investigations going on behind the scenes for some of the other shady dealings and things that have been going on. Things that I won't get into too much detail in here now, because I'm not sure how much of it is meant to be displayed to the public. But from what I can see, things are going up. So
on the right direction.
We're optimistic. We're optimistic.
Yeah, that's great. It's great to have a positive update from it, because I know it was quite a bit of a worry when we discussed it, or in an earlier podcast. So yeah, that's really great. A good news update there. So another topic that we're going to go through, as some people might have seen, is David Blaine's new show, Do Not Attempt. I think it's on Disney Plus, but National Geographic has it. So Steve, do you want to go through the show and talk about things?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's not really a magic show, which is great. You know, like David has definitely put all the emphasis on these incredible people who do incredible things for real, and it really ties into him just being him. Because I think, you know, early on, David Blaine was very, you know, Shazam-ish and look at my hand and not talking and very kind of moody and all that kind of stuff. I think as he's kind of matured and gotten older as a performer as well, he's just himself, and you can kind of see it in this, where he's kind of excited to meet these people, and he kind of acts a little bit like a layperson when he sees him do these incredible things. So it's kind of cool to see him that way. And then they launched it on Houdini's birthday as well, which was pretty clever. Houdini was 151, I think. So yeah, he's fucking still going for a play to him. But yeah, no, I thought the Blaine show was great. I mean, if you like documentaries, if you just like kind of that Ripley's Believe It or Not kind of feel, there's a bit of that going on kind of through it as well. And then obviously David is there talking about his kind of interests and how he kind of creates magic with a couple of other magicians. And yeah, it's very cool. Good concept.
Yeah.
It's Hulu Disney Plus release. What platforms can you see it on? Do you know off the top of your head?
Disney Plus is the easiest one for all. That's
Disney
the only place we
Plus.
can see it at the moment. Is Disney Plus. But I think it's a National Geographic, or like the
production. Yeah,
it's like that's on Disney Plus, so it's there, because it's kind of a bit like a travel documentary. Like he's in a different area each episode. So there's 2 episodes out where he was in. The first episode is Brazil, and the second one is Southeast Asia. With that, and what I really like, this thing you were saying as well, is that like he's highlighting all the performers, because even like Patrick Kun is in it for the Southeast Asia one. He's like showing him around, and there's clips of him performing for people, and there's other magicians that are around in the other episodes and stuff too. Because there's something he started doing more recently, is like talking about the other magicians that are his friends who help him with stuff. But even this one's really highlighting the magicians who are there, but also these incredible performers like the snake handlers, high divers, just people doing incredible stuff. And it's and then he, like, there's some clips of him doing magic in it, but you don't really get to see the whole performance. You just get to see him holding a deck of cards, then people reacting to pulling a card out from under their watch, because it's not really about the magic. It's more like when he's out in the world, people ask him to do magic. So you know, there's bits of magic in it that way. But I thought it was really cool, and he does a fire bridge jump at the end of the first episode, which is brilliant. With that, and then the kissing with the King Cobra, which he talked about in a lot of the talk shows, and things like that with it. And it's as you were saying, it is that thing of like his personality is coming across. Because even my wife was saying that she was like, she didn't really get him before when he was very serious and very sort of no personality, but he's like laughing and joking. And like there's a scene after they do some stuff with bees where him and Patrick are on the road, like waving their hands as if they're being chased by bees, but it's just they're having fun. And like that's not something you'd ever think you'd see David Blaine do. And even him talking about like his fears of like things that crawl and stuff like that. So it's like,
it's much more like humanizing. It sounds like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it does seem to happen. Like George Foreman, like recently passed away, and early in his career, he was like all like moody and dark and stuff. And then when he came back after kind of like a comeback kind of thing, Muhammad Ali was like doing magic tricks and taking the piss out of people and joking around, and it wasn't all serious. It wasn't like I'm just going to kill you kind of thing in the ring. It was all fun and games. And then his real personality came out in the movie as well. So I think a lot of times people get that, maybe that advice from whoever. I know he did a lot of work early on, David Blaine, with like Paul Harris and stuff. So maybe he thought he needed to be dark and kind of moody and whatever.
You probably did at the time to stand out because Magic was seen as so like jokey and like it wasn't in a good place when his first specials came out.
Yeah,
that you have to just go that complete opposite. But it seems like a lot of people are going that way now. I was like, Colin Cloud did a Q&A today that I was listening to for a while, and he was talking about how he used to be quite aggressive and all that sort of stuff. And he's cut that out. And Luke Tremaine's talked about it recently, where he's more about bringing joy and gotten rid of that aggressive thing. It was something Luke said on a Q&A he did with the Mind Rocks that Luke has. And it was just one small thing that he said, that he was like, when the world was a much safer place in a way, where there was like maybe one war in the world or something, it's like, but like everything, people felt a bit more comfortable, that it was okay to be the opposite of that on stage, being aggressive, the show being harsh in a way. But it's like, now that the world feels more harsh on the outside, he wants the show to be more of a safe, more rounded edges on the show, that it's more light, that like people coming in with stress, so you want to lift the stress throughout the show, while before people were coming in more carefree, so it's okay to give them stress, in like probably butchering what was meant by it. But it was interesting that like the three performers, like with David Blaine, Luke Tremaine, Colin Cloud, like they're all talking more about that sort of, they're being more themselves on stage now, but they're also at such a successful level that people want to see them show that sort of way. So I wonder, is it a mix of, when you get to a certain level of success, you can just be yourself, but to get there, you have to kind of be that sort of different thing. Maybe that bit of aggression is what makes you stand out from everyone else. That being silent and just odd is that thing that sets you apart from everyone else as well. So it's an interesting, like, which came first, the chicken or the egg?
Yeah,
I think it might be a situation even too where he's pretty much the most. I'm gonna go out and say on a limb, he's probably the most famous magician in the world, if not he's top 5 for sure. He doesn't necessarily need the clout at this point in his career. I think it might even be a him giving back kind of thing, where he's using his name and his platform to highlight these other incredible people that you may have never heard of or knew existed.
You can see that though in the show, though. You actually see him enjoying making this, like where maybe before he did enjoy the shows, maybe, but you can see that he wanted to do this. He like this is almost like a pet project that he's been allowed to do, and he thinks that's awesome because he's very much the host, So like you can see that he's enjoying it in the same way that if we got to make something that you really wanted to make and it wasn't just about whatever. Because I mean, like, when you've nothing to fear and you're kind of like up there, and you can highlight other magicians, because it's not like, oh, I'm the only one that can do that thing. You know what I mean? Blaine doesn't. He can highlight whoever he wants because he's already very established. And it's like when you give somebody an opportunity or whatever. If you've nothing to fear, well, then other people will be close guarded and they'll be like, oh no, I'm the only magician that can do a double lift. No, you're not. Fuck off.
It's that thing as well. It's like, it's the different styles of, like, because a lot of it's kind of like that sideshow stuff that people are doing, like eating nails or whatever the stunts are. And it's that, like, it's even like this. There was the thing with the snakes, which it's in all the promotional stuff. So it's like him being trained to kiss a king cobra on the head, and that could quite easily have been shot in a way where it's him going, I want to kiss the king cobra on his head, and everybody like, no, you're crazy, this is madness, blah 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 blah. Then him training and then doing it. And you never, that's all you see of someone do it. But this show is like, you see this guy do the most crazy things with snakes.
Yeah.
And one of the things that he does is kiss it on the head. And then Blaine's like, I want to try that thing. But then Trout is being like, this guy is incredible. I got to kiss a snake, but like, it was the most terrifying thing I've ever done. And it's nothing compared to what this guy can do. So it's kind of that thing of like, or even like he ate a hot coal and he was like, I couldn't talk 4 days. It's like, and this guy does it every night.
But that was the other thing as well. Like, the snake handler guy isn't a rock star, isn't a famous magician, isn't globally famous, whatever. He's living in a small house, talking about his family and his daughter and whatever. But he's doing this impossible thing, and people take that for granted, just because it just seems to have that real rawness about it. And it almost feels like real magic in that sense, where David's always brilliant at like blurring the line between, is this a trick, is it real, or whatever. And then when you see him be impressed by it, even though we know the standard of magic that he does, it transcends that a little bit. It's not really a trick. It's not a trick at all, really.
Yeah, and it's the thing is like that magic isn't a thing; it's a feeling. Because like he keeps repeating it. Like there was a guy doing like tightrope walking, and it's like,
oh yeah, that was
this. It feels like magic. Or the people doing high dives into water that's like jumping 20 meters and off cliffs and stuff. And it's like that. Watching them do it feels like magic. Like my family's big in gymnastics in Ireland. And like I've been around stuff, and my dad always called like what they do is it's body magic in a way, because like that's what magic isn't, just like a card trick or the sort of sleight of hand that we do. Magic is like a feeling that you can give to people, and it's kind of looking at things that aren't magic but give people the same reaction and same feelings as magic. And as Blaine said, these people don't know they're magicians, but they are.
Yeah, 100%.
That's beautiful. I love that.
It's really raw and organic. It's nice. I'm sure there's other people going, "Oh, he's not doing any magic. Fuck this is a shit." But like, it's not that. If you think that's what it is, go watch something else.
Yeah. It's absolutely. It's really good. I highly recommend it. I like binge watched the first 2 shows.
Yeah.
With that. So,
if you really want to go see magic, just watch Deceive Reality podcast. Watch O'Brien Magic on YouTube, baby. Boom.
Boom.
There you go. That's it. Like I didn't see Blaine once produce a bottle of Guinness. Like what the fuck's that about?
It's disgraceful.
Yeah,
and not in any special he's ever done.
Wait, there's still 4 more episodes to go though. So
that's true.
Guinness could
time. Guinness could be coming. Shot of the last episode.
He wear the Paddy cap.
Yeah,
could happen. Could fucking happen.
You never know. But yeah, I highly recommend the show for people. Check it out. Disney Plus is probably the easiest place to get it, and it's brilliant. So we'll move on now to the last topic that we have for this episode, which is the changes that were done to FISM. I know this was like announced a few weeks back, but we haven't had a chance to talk about it yet. So just with the taking FISM, I think was kind of in a situation where they're trying to get the attendance up a bit, trying to make it a bigger convention sort of situation. Because like Blackpool's the biggest, Magic Live is huge, and then FISM is kind of almost like maybe becoming something for like the diehards who are really into like the classic, really strong, because you're just watching competition acts. There are other lectures and workshops stuff going on too as the convention, but they're trying to make it some changes to, I guess, maybe help younger people. And Chris Ramsey was brought in to help consult some of these things. So there's some new categories that were announced. There's like best online magic, I think, is one of the things. I'm not sure what the criteria for that are. Is it like just a single video or something like that? For it. And then there's also like best magic podcast, I think was one of the categories, and a few other things. So we talk through like whether we think it's good, whether we think it's bad, that sort of stuff. For me personally, I think it's good to have the change, try and get it up. I do think like online magic, I know there was like that whole Zoom phase that we all went through during COVID, but it's like that, like the social media style magic. It's a complete different. It's a complete different art form. It's almost like it's not even TV magic in that sort of way, because it's also available to everyone. It's not like you can have a category of like best TV trick, because it's really, you're limiting it to the people who can get a TV show. Anyone can post something on social media, and it's that sort of stuff of like being able to use the frame of the camera to work well, to be able to work it well. I'd be very curious to see what the entries look like, because like there's some stuff online which is like, if we're going to go online magic, it's just 90% exposure if you search the hashtags, or like people doing fake reactions or whatever. So it's going to be interesting what the quality is like, because there's some really strong one, like some of the stuff like Pete Furman does on online is brilliant, some of the magic stuff like that, and there are other people doing some really strong stuff. So I think that'll be really interesting. I think Magic Podcast for me is weird, that like that's a category for FISM, because it's like that's almost more like a BAFTA or an Emmy type category than like, because I still think it should be a competition for like skill at magic. While you can do a really good magic podcast and know nothing about magic in a way. So that's the way. It's nice to give people recognition and that sort of stuff, but I just think I found that weird as like a FISM category, but I really like the online magic one then. So what are your thoughts on it?
Yes. Go ahead, Steve. Sorry.
No, go on, shoot.
I was just gonna say, so I think you nailed it on the head, and you said something along the lines of, I don't remember exactly how you phrased it, but like when you're doing the competition, you're performing live in front of the judges. They're grading you based on whatever the criteria is: originality, skill, audience management, storytelling, whatever like the different categories are.
Mhm.
And you have one shot, right? You go up, you do your thing, you impress the judges, and then you leave. When it comes to judging, like social media magic or like through Zoom or whatever the category is, I'm curious to know if it's also going to be live. Is this a situation where they're performing for the judges but through the screen? Is it that kind of thing? If that's the case, I think it's awesome. I think that's going to 100% showcase your skills in a different art form that uses magic as the vehicle to carry it. If it's a situation where I can sit here and I can do 100 takes until I get the best one and then submit the video, I don't know. Like, I guess it kind of depends, because with social media magic, you do have the opportunity to do that. If I
Yeah.
record something and it looks like shit, I'm not going to post it. I'm going to keep doing it until it looks good, right?
Which
And
is
then
the
I'm
more
going to post
accurate
it,
thing of judging it then. So yeah,
right? That's what makes
Then they
it
might as
social
well have
media
like
magic.
the like world award for best editing or best direction or best, and then it becomes the fucking Oscars, which is
So
but it's, I think it's like
you know
if it still has to be a one take thing where you're not allowed to edit. It
yeah
has to be a one take, but you could try it hard. Like it's not like in the Oscars they go, well, in the Tonys you're performing on stage and you got to nail it. So really, in the movies you have to have one take or like fuck off.
like
It's like
even
you're
Yeah.
allowed to do multiple takes. So, but I think it'll be that situation where, like in acting, people look at like a stage actor as like, oh wow, he's like he's a
yeah
Broadway performer, he's a real actor. Then like some people might put that above a movie star or something like that. It's
sure
like in their own head. But you can have that.
yeah
That might be a situation in magic. It's like both people can be FISM winners. But within the magic community, we can know that like the guy who won best card magician has had a harder job in a way because they have to do it live in one take in front of everyone. So
yeah
like it can be a situation where you could give people multiple takes, but then we all know that like that's a very good skill set. But I personally think this one was harder. Joe, that sort of way it could
yeah.
work that way too.
I mean, you can see as well at Blackpool they were pushing FISM quite hard. They were talking about it and trying to give discounts and whatever. And I
Yeah,
still
they're
don't
selling
think like
tickets already.
people. Yeah, I don't know. Does it have the interest that it has? Because I think it's had this kind of stuffy kind of feel to it for a long time. That it's very much like the Olympics of magic, and it's this, and it's very out. You're like if you're just a magician, you can't be there. But if you're like a world champion magician, you could be there. It's got that kind of thing. And if they want to open it up to people stigma wise or whatever, they're going to have to work really hard. And it is good to bring in like people like Chris and stuff like that. But I've had chats with Rocco about FISM numerous times, and it's always positive stuff. But like you have to go up, do your act, and do it. I think if you're just posting in a video or whatever, you're not going to get the same credit as like the world champion guy who's producing 50 fucking doves or whatever. You know what I mean? It's just not. It's not going to be the same thing.
Yeah, my take on it is the feel is going to be that the main attraction is the competition, and then you have these other categories like very much like an Oscars, and these are your nominees for best
Sure.
podcast. They're going to
Yeah.
name them, and then they're going to announce the winner, and then you're going to come up and accept your trophy and do your little speech. But it's not the main attraction. It's like the other
Yeah.
bits that are happening. That's what
Yeah.
my feel.
Yeah, I
Is
have a
that it's
similar
gonna
sort of thing.
kinda
It
be.
might be at like the closing at one, like if there's like an evening gala or whatever,
Yeah.
they might announce them either, or like
Yeah.
they might just announce them online. Because technically, if you send in a video, you don't need to be there.
It's just a
So-
it's a sub credit thing. Like it'll happen. It's like when you're watching the Oscars and at the end it's like best South African movies, and they all get Oscars, but it's not the main part of the show. I think that's what it's going to be, especially this time around because it's the first time they're not going to highlight it. It's not going to be. It can't be as big as the main awards. It just can't be.
And it's
Yeah.
not. We're not just annoyed that we didn't get nominated for best magic podcast or anything. No, that's not it. I'm so. I just checked the post from time to time to be sure, but it's not
Our
sour
podcast. Our podcast is too intelligent for some people. I'm just sorry to say.
Yeah, people still think it's
read
about
a
drugs.
dictionary.
Yeah, my feel too is that I'm wondering if it's a popularity contest. Like the nominees, are they going to be people that have like millions of followers, or are these going to be people that submitted something, it was judged, and then like there's like these are like the 5 finalists or something. You know, like
I
I'm
could see like
wondering.
the podcast one being like a publicity vote thing, because how do you judge a podcast? It's what people like. It's you can't,
Yeah,
they're just because they're magic podcast doesn't mean, like, some of them are interview ones, some of them are news ones, some of them are just taking the piss ones. So it's like you have very different. So I think it's hard to go have a panel of podcasting experts judge which one is the best. So that, I think
Yeah.
that one might be like people vote in or whatever and do it
yeah,
that
yeah,
way.
yeah.
But then I could see that, like if you have a bunch of musicians sit down and like to watch the video of the things, and like people who know what they're doing, you could probably have them judged rather than just being like, which one has the most views on Instagram? There's your winner. Because it could
Yeah.
be it'd be tough that way. For
Do,
it. So yeah,
do you know, I was thinking the other day, there seems to be like 2 subcategories nearly of magic in general these days. As in, there's magic that we all perform for people, like paid work or gigs or whatever. And then there's like a whole category of magic that you will never perform for anyone, that is just for magicians. And we've all got caught into that, where you buy something because it looks cool or whatever. But it's for you. You know, as soon as you buy it, you will never perform it for a layperson, and you know that it won't fit anything. But it fits that kind of, oh, I just want to kind of know how it works, or that's definitely directed at magicians. And I could name 100 tricks, and I wouldn't discredit the people who created them, but I'm just saying they're not magicians for lay people. I mean, that's there, and I don't know, has that always been the case? Like, if you went back years ago, but I think magic years ago was created with the idea that it was for your spectator, not for magicians.
It's because the community is growing. The people like magicians like watching magic, and it's, I think we always talk about, like, in the whole thing, we might tell lay people of like, oh, it's so sacrificing because I got into magic because I loved magic and I'm losing the experience over time, or this thing we all like to say. But it is that thing that, like, magicians, like, we still like to be fooled. So it's like that's where it's like people like, but also I think for some people it can be about wanting to sort of, if I fool other magicians, that puts me as like a higher level of respect or something. But a lot of times for me, I'm like, I'm more interested in presentation and stuff like that. So like if someone does a move that I know and see, like crisscross force, I'm more interested in their presentation than like whether they fooled me or not. If they fool me, brilliant.
Yeah.
But if they fool me and I'm bored, I don't care. So it's that sort of stuff. And I think that's sort of stuffiness that FISM is trying to get away from a bit too. That it is that sort of, like, I thought the one competition at Blackpool, we mentioned it in the last episode about the Blackpool, that there was a much more variety
Yeah.
in the competition, where there was people who were talking, there were people who were silent, there was manip acts, while the first year was like all silent and pretty much all manip acts. There was a couple of things that weren't, but it was all, nobody spoke on stage, I think, except for Mario Lopez when he asked for help when the salt was coming out of her. That was like the only word spoken in like a 2 hour or an hour and a half show.
Yeah.
So it's that sort of thing of that. I could see where a lot of people going to FISM, where it's just going to be ridiculously good sleight of hand, but when you, that can just be overload at times. Because that's why I love the winner of the one this year, was like, it was so funny as well as being some of the most incredibly technical stuff. So I think it's, but
Clever
like,
And
concept.
fooling. I think a
nice
lot of people
shows.
didn't see how the card gun underneath the
Oh yeah, no, it's
table
crazy.
too.
No,
It's the
very
thing as
clever.
well, like the fact that they're live streaming it this year as well. Like you can get tickets and watch stuff online. I think that's really good, because that can encourage people to go. Because if you're sitting on the fence going, do I want to spend like €1,000 to get my tickets to it, and then also have to travel to wherever FISM is on,
Where is it this year?
Italy?
Italy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then you get there and you're like, oh my God, I'm so bored, because it's just really good sleight of hand after really good sleight of hand, and eventually you just get come to it. And like, I know there's workshops and lectures going on, but if you're going to FISM, you want to see the competition. But by people seeing it online and realizing these performers aren't just like boring move monkey people, they're actually doing entertaining performances as well, and that's something that they've been judged on. That might encourage people then to go, Joe, I watched it online last year and I had such a good time watching it. I'll actually travel next year and go see it in person. So I think that sort of thing opening up, and I think a lot of conventions could do that, where maybe have some of the lectures available for people to watch live stream. I know the infrastructure, it can be difficult, but it might encourage people to be like, Joe, I loved it, so I'll actually go now.
Yeah. Yeah, you can test the waters with it a bit or whatever. But there's so many like in different kind of like categories of even magic. That the awards night for something like that must be huge. Do you know what I mean? Because like you said, you've all the manipulation stuff, and then you've got magic, and then you've got like, is there category? I don't know much about FISM, but other than
there's
I know there's different categories.
There's cards, coins, stage. I know are like some of the ones.
But then there's like originality, and then there's there's loads of other ones, because that's what Rocco had.
I think they're awards then that are like in the subcategory. So it's like you mightn't win best card magician, but you won the originality award.
Oh,
I think it kind of works that sort of way. I'm not sure, like 100% stuff. I've never gone to it, but it's that sort of
like the lineup and stuff looks really good. Like, I mean, I was looking at it. I don't know in that same way that we kind of don't know enough about it. I don't know what I go, but
the workshops look good this year as well.
And they have master classes and stuff like that as well. So I mean, I don't think you're gonna have like a lot of amateur, dicky bow fuckers there. You're gonna have people who are actually
part of it, you have to be sponsored too. I don't think you can just go. You have to be sponsored by an officially recognized magic society.
I think there's a lot of like local
or IBM or something like that.
It's a lot of places have local competitions, and it's the winner of the local competition go to the thing, because there's even a bit of that, like with the Blackpool competitions, like the Family Entertainer. A lot of times, like in Dublin here, there might be like a Family Entertainer competition. The winner goes to Blackpool. Like you can have those sort of things. So like FISM judging, there are 8 categories. So manipulation, general magic, stage illusions, micro magic, card magic, parlor magic, mental magic, and invention. So they're the sort of ones, because it's like I like the way it's broken down there, like separating, because a lot of competitions they go, this is the stage competition, and then it's illusionists, stage people like Steve, you might be doing with like an in rope escape and a Bill and Lemon, and then a mentalist, and you're trying to judge the difference between like someone doing metamorphosis, someone doing like classic stage magic, and a mentalist, and you're like, how do you judge which one of them is the best stage performer? So I like that. It's like, so I'm not sure like micro magic is,
and then if you have
micro magic is just close up magic general.
But then if you've got like a judge who knows nothing about mentalism, he'll just like rule out mentalism straight away and be like, I don't know anything about that.
So having mental magic, I found it weird that there's a card magic one but not a coin magic one.
I would imagine there's going to be a lot of acts that are just cards. Like Shin Lim, for example, would be the greatest example of this. Though technically speaking, he had multiple elements. At its heart, it was a card routine that he did for Dream Act. So
did he do that in FISM?
There's not many people who just do. There's not much stuff.
He won FISM with that in 2006. The Dream
Act.
Yeah, that's one thing that's cool. Actually, a lot of people, like, if you do well at have a good FISM act, it becomes a good Got Talent act. And then when it's a good Got Talent act, you can get on that Got Talent circuit, which is bad if there's like a Got Talent circuit. You're like, you do like Britain's Got Talent, America's Got Talent, Slovenia's Got Talent, Italy's Got Talent.
Yeah.
So it's great to get like your act out there, and then hopefully
you can't do Ireland's Got Talent because it's shit.
Just because I got 3 yeses, like.
Because like Eric Chen won too in his category. I think he won Micro Magic because it was cards and coins and other things were happening, and like color he did a color change of his like his vest and like all this stuff. So it's one of those things where it's like, well, did he win best cards, or did he win Micro Magic, or did he win most original act, or whatever? Like there's, I think it's a situation where you do your act, and then the judges score you, and then they decide on what you won, or who won what.
It must be on points. It has to be. I mean, it's the only way.
The judges are judging you on. So like there's a score. The judges' guidelines are available online. It's a PDF.
Who are the judges? Does it say who the judges are, or is it
not,
like you don't know?
This is just general, like what they're looking for.
The judges are generally going to be people that have been in Magic for like donkey's years too. Like
past winners and whatever.
Wild was a judge one year, and
if you get 85%, you get your Grand Prix winner. If you get first, you have to get over 80%. second is over 70%, third is over 60%. The criteria. Oh, Michael's gone.
Oh, perfect timing.
All right, so here are the categories that they're looking for. Magic atmosphere. Does the performer create the feeling of wonder, surprise?
Best bald head. Dave's in that.
Nailed it. Showmanship and presentation, your presence, experience, stagecraft, that sort of stuff. Entertainment value, artistic expression and routinning, and technical skill, originality. So that's what they're looking for. So I think like those are good criteria to have, because a lot of people get so obsessed that like my technical skill isn't good enough that I'm not going to get there. But because like you can go to FISM and get like a third place with 60%. So if you score really well in showmanship, entertainment value, artistic expression, and originality, but like your skill is like it's going to want to be good to qualify. But it is something that I think more people should like put themselves forward for, and get it going that way, because I think it'd be quite good.
Interesting.
Just go there with all my electronic devices and be like, no technical skill. You can skip that category.
Yeah.
And
I need a plug to charge all this shit, and I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I don't know how much FISM you guys have followed it all over the years, but in
No.
2003, the Micro Magic winner was Rick Merrill. Does that name sound familiar to you? I don't know if he's done anything. I don't know if he's done anything.
See the guy with the pen
before or after. He uses the Sharpie and the coin.
Yeah.
Right. And I remember when this first came out, every magician was like learning his Sharpie stuff, right?
Yeah.
That's like the thing that he was known for. He won because not only was what he was doing technically very advanced stuff, it was also all of his original techniques that he developed, and he had everyone laughing their asses off the whole time, because he was just like he's like a computer salesman guy that like works in like IT or something, and he's out here like doing magic, and he's got a very dry personality, but it's so freaking funny to watch. So it's like I can see where all of these multiple things that they're judging you on can kind of shape you. Now, if I were to come out and do that exact routine and it was flawless, like technically wise, but my personality didn't show through, or people are like, oh, okay, cool, we've seen this before, this isn't original, my chances of winning with that are a lot lower. So I can see how all these different criteria kind of work together to figure out who's the best. Because like you said, how do you tell the difference between the mentalist and the illusionist, or the escapologist, or the close-up guy, or the person that's primarily doing like very artistic style of magic, where not a whole lot of like magic is happening, but it's like very heavy with the dancing and like all of this stuff, so like how do you kind of compare all of those people?
Yeah, it's good having the different categories and split it out. Just gives people something to go on anyway. I think especially like illusions versus magic versus mentalism, because like I could see like there's some technical stuff, like some billet work can be extremely technical, and some of the stuff required to do illusions can be very technical, but they're very different to each other. It's like
it's
having a really good billet switch and making sure you don't saw someone in half. There's technical stuff that you have to be very proficient in, like the switches that you're flicking, or like those sort of things. You have to do that without people seeing what you're doing, and that sort of stuff. Because a lot of people think with illusion, it's just like, oh, the box does it for you. But you have to do things for the box to make the box work. And if people see you going like, and I moved the lever here, and now it's all good, it's like it needs to look like you didn't do anything. So it's very interesting. So hopefully it'll go well this year, because I do think it's a great sort of thing to have, of like an award for the best technical performers, in a way of not just like technical skill, but like creating a sense of wonder in a room is technical. All the categories are technical in a way. They're just different skills.
Yeah, because it has to be broken up into different categories, because you couldn't have somebody like Rick Thomas floating his wife around the place and a guy doing a color changing deck. I mean, it's not like
Yeah,
you know,
100%.
they're polar opposites, so it has to be
So you
broken
have to have the micro magic, the grand scale illusion, mental
Yeah,
magic, card
has to
magic,
be.
that sort of stuff. Yeah, it's good to have it, and we'll see how the new stuff goes and the changes. Hopefully they go well, because the more good magic that goes well and the more conventions that go on, the better it is for the rest of us. So fingers crossed. So I think that are all the topics that we have gone through. So that's what the crack is for another month. Hey, oh, fireworks!
Boom, fireworks! Look at that.
So,
No expense spared. No expense.
No expense. Big production budget. But if people have other questions as well that they want to go through, or any news that they see, make sure they comment down below or let us know, because we're always searching to see what we want to talk about. But if people can tell us what they want us to talk about, that does make it easier. So if people can do that, we really appreciate it. But
or get into trouble, like Steve always says. Start acting up.
Some trouble.
Start acting a fool, and we'll have more to talk about.
Yeah, snowflakes. Get organized.
And some new people having controversy would be great. So let's spread out the controversy.
Yeah.
See how it goes. But yeah, that's it for another episode. Thanks everyone for sticking with us, and we'll be back again in about a month. So happy April Fools.
April Fools, have a good one.